Have you ever wished your AI coding assistant, like GitHub Copilot, knew more? Not just about code in general, but about your project, your work items, your pull requests, your team's entire workflow. Well, the dream of connecting your AI directly to your Azure DevOps data is here, and it just got a massive upgrade. Okay, let's dive right in. So, here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll talk about the big idea, connecting AI to DevOps. Then we'll look at the big shift from the old local server to the new remote one. I'll walk you through the ridiculously simple 3-step setup. We'll cover what's working today, what's coming up next, and finally, what this big move to remote really means for you. All right, so first up, let's get to the heart of it. This is all about making your AI tools genuinely aware of your project. It's about bridging that gap between a generic coding assistant and a true context-savvy copilot that actually understands your team. No, really, just stop and think about this for a second. You're in your IDE, you ask Copilot a question, and it doesn't just spit out some generic code. Instead, it pulls in details from the actual work item in Azure boards. It understands the context of a pull request you're looking at. That's the game-changing power we're talking about here. And that's exactly what the MCP server unlocks. Okay, so this whole idea, it's not brand new, right? There was a local version of this server before, but the whole process has been completely reimagined. Let's look at how we got to this much simpler and honestly way better approach. And this is really the key difference. The old local server, you had to download it, install it, configure it yourself. Think of it like needing your own personal water pump. It's a lot of work just to get started. But the new remote server, that's like turning on the city tap. It's just there. Microsoft hosts it, which means zero setup, zero maintenance for you. It just works. So yeah, here's the official, kind of technical definition. It's a hosted version using streamable HTTP transport, which is just a fancy modern way of talking over the web. But the key phrase here, the real magic, is removing the need for local installation. That one change makes everything so much easier. So just how easy are we talking here? And I'm not kidding, you can have this up and running in like under a minute. Let's walk through the 3 simple steps to get you connected. That's it, seriously. You just find the MCP JSON file that your tool is using, you paste in a little block of text, and you make one tiny change. You swap out a placeholder with your Azure DevOps organization's name. And this is literally all you need. You copy this bit of JSON, you pop it into the server section of your file, and you change out at organization for, Microsoft or your company name. Save the file, and you're done. That's it. The server is configured. It's that fast. Okay, now for the important part. Since this is in public preview, we gotta be super clear about what's supported right now and, more importantly, what the requirements are. So let's get into the details. Listen up, because this is the big one. This is the single most important prerequisite. To use the remote server, your Azure DevOps organization has to be backed by Microsoft Entra. Now, why is that? Well, it's all about security and creating that seamless, single sign-on experience you get across all your Microsoft services. So this means your ADO org has to be connected to an Entra tenant. Standalone organizations that use personal Microsoft accounts, they aren't supported just yet. Now, what tools can you actually use this with today? Well, the client support is already pretty solid. If you're using GitHub Copilot inside of either Visual Studio or VS Code, you're good to go. You can do this right now. You'll see that support for the Copilot CLI and other models is marked as coming soon. And that's because the team is doing the work on the back end to make sure those tools can also integrate securely with that Entra authentication. And speaking of coming soon, the team has shared a peek into the future, and it shows that this is just the start for deep AI integration with Azure DevOps. And this is where it gets really exciting. You can kind of see the story unfolding here in this timeline. We've got today's support for VS and VS Code. Soon, we're going to see more client tools light up. But look further out. Integrations with Microsoft 365 Copilot, Azure AI Foundry, Copilot Studio. This is the aha moment. It shows this bigger strategic vision to make your Azure DevOps data a first-class citizen across the entire Microsoft AI ecosystem, from your code editor all the way to your Office apps. Okay, so let's wrap this up. What's the key takeaway from all this, and what should you be doing right now? Now, if you're using the old local MCP server today, don't panic. It still works for now. But, and this is crucial, you need to understand that all the future investment, all the new features, all those cool integrations we just saw, they're all going to be focused exclusively on this new remote server. And hey, don't just take my word for it.
To make it crystal clear, here's a direct quote from Dan Helm, the product manager for Azure DevOps. He said, "We plan to eventually archive that repository and focus our investments on the remote MCP server." The message could not be any clearer. The future is remote, and the time to start trying it out is now.
So what's the game plan? It's simple. The action is to start trying out the new remote server. The benefits are huge. No more manual setup. You get updates automatically, and you're lining yourself up with the future of the platform. And hey, if you run into any issues while it's in public preview, you can still report them over at the old local servers repository for now. This really changes the whole conversation, doesn't it? By just completely removing the biggest barrier, the setup. The focus shifts from how you can connect your AI to what you can achieve with it. It just opens up this whole world of possibilities for a truly intelligent, context-aware development lifecycle. So the only question left is, what amazing things are you going to build?